Since the arrival of Tuesday, July 14th at 9 o'clock, the Committee on Parks and Culture will be called into session. The first order of business is to call the roll. Can we have the wonderful Miss Kelsey Newigan?
Close.
Negan? How do you say? Nyan?
Nian.
Nian. I apologize. I like the Evans part.
Yeah.
Better. That was a perfect last maiden name. I like
Easy.
Evans, but anyways, I love your new name too. So please call the roll.
Supervisors O'Connor,
Present.
Taylor,
Here.
Martin,
Present.
Cogs Jones,
Excuse.
Martinez,
Here.
Ekblad.
Here.
Mr. Chairman,
Here.
there are 6 members present, 3 appearing virtually. We have a quorum.
Right. The first order of business is really discussion of the breakfast items. I'd like to tell my committee members who are not here that we have a spectacular breakfast courtesy of Supervisor Martin and Supervisor O'Connor. Hopefully the camera can pan to the food selection. I don't know if they can do that, but if they can't, you are missing out on a feast this morning. But it's for everybody else. I know Supervisor Taylor likes a good breakfast, so you're really missing out, Supervisor Taylor.
Gosh. Jeez.
All right. We'll start the first order of business, and I also have to, pardon my, it's not over 90 degrees today. I'm wearing shorts. This is my first day I'm wearing shorts, but I'm wearing shorts to chair the committee, so I'm just going to put that on the record here.
I'm in shorts.
You're in shorts. All right, well, great. Well, with that business taken care of, Kelsey, if you can just start the call item, we're going to do actually item number 2 because item number 1 we're going to just delay for a second. So item number 2.
Item 2 from the Executive Director of Parks requesting authorization to amend Milwaukee County General Ordinance, Chapter 13, Guidelines for County Departments Establishing Partnerships with Support Groups.
Welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
All right. Good morning, Chair Wasserman and committee members. Vanessa Koster, Department of Parks, and I'm the Director of Administration. And if it's okay with you, Chair, I do have a brief PowerPoint to share.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so today we are seeking your authorization to amend Milwaukee County General Code of Ordinance, Chapter 13 Guidelines for county departments establishing partnerships with support groups. Before I give an overview of the amendment, we'd like to thank Supervisor O'Connor as well as Supervisor Logston, who have been working on this and supporting us. This has been in process for several years, so we're very excited to bring this forward to the committee this morning. And then also James Davies from OCC. OCC has been in consultation on this as well. And then further, Supervisor Logston, she provided an amendment back in March, and that's been incorporated in the version before you. So Chapter 13 was originally created in 1989, and it provides guidance on support groups or friends groups. They're instrumental in the success of county parks. We currently have over 60 friends groups. The amendment of the ordinance provides a straightforward framework. It's very streamlined and clear oversight in terms of regulations relating to support groups. So the ordinance before you, it updates and clarifies policies, and then now we're generally calling them for all nonprofit support groups, and it has a clear separation between their role and the county board. And then also just to go over the general amendments, there's a comparison in the PowerPoint, and looking at the original Chapter 13 and then what is being amended. So in terms of the policy section, The original was focused just on Friends Group, and the amendment before you today broadens that. And so there's a clear distinction between the county and support groups and their roles. And then this covers all nonprofits. Also, the original didn't really have a requirement for an agreement. There were some agreement clauses, and this really clarifies and requires an agreement with several mandated clauses that have been added. And then this is a part that I know Robert, our contracts manager, is very focused on in terms of the financial reporting. Before, there were county threshold reporting requirements, and it wasn't exactly equitable for some of the smaller groups to pay for that independent audit. Now, the amended version aligns with the Wisconsin state statutes and the IRS requirements in terms of reporting, so it's much more streamlined. And then additionally, we've added a new section, 1308, and it really adds a framework for how we manage the support groups, all their contributions, and then there's a separate agreement that will be required for any of the support groups that fundraise over $10,000. And so again, we know that the support groups, friends groups are integral and very important in terms of helping out county parks in terms of all the different parks throughout the county. And we seek your approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Members of the committee? Supervisor O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would also like to point out, I think that there's a hand up, and that might be someone trying to log in for attendance, but I'm not sure. So I'll go ahead with my question in the meantime. Thank you for the report, and thank you to you and the entire department for working with Supervisor Logsdon and myself on this. And I would just like to ask a generalized question outside of sort of the specifics. I'm basically looking for reassurance for some of the friends groups who have apprehensions about what these changes may mean for them. So if you could just give a little bit of narrative around how this will impact them in terms of like obtaining insurance or being able to function. Do you anticipate much in the way of changes to the existing friends groups? Or do you see them needing a lot of assistance in using any of the changes or improvements? How will this be kind of administered and communicated to those groups? How will they be supported and in receiving this information and making sure that they're clear on it? Thank you.
Supervisor, if I could answer that question. So I think we will make it as seamless as possible. So the agreements that come before the county board will, include all of the updates to the chapter. And then similarly, Robert and administration, we work very closely with those new friends groups that are trying to advance and put together the agreements and coming before the board. And so it should be more streamlined for them, especially with the reporting at the end of the year. And, just ensuring them that this is important framework to help them put together the agreements and move forward with all of the fundraising activities that they want to do to support the local parks.
Thank you.
Other committee members? Supervisor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do not have any questions or comments, but I do make a motion to recommend for approval.
Thank you very much for the recommendation. Non-supervisors yes, Supervisor Logsdon, if you'd like to comment.
Supervisor Logsdon, District 9. Yes, thank you for putting forth, sorry I missed most of the presentation, got caught in traffic, but we did pursue to put this through years ago, but there was a couple little glitches, so it took years to get this through. So it's a much-needed update. And we still, in there, have oversight for the Milwaukee County from the county board on this, and I just look forward to seeing it enacted with our friends groups, and I thank you for this. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Supervisor Luxton. It appears that Supervisor Cogs-Jones, are you here with us?
Yes, Chairman, I am. I was going to ask to be added to the record as present. Thank you, Supervisor O'Connor, for mentioning earlier.
Absolutely. All we see here is we see a C, and we didn't know who the C was, but, so we're happy you're here.
Solomon, thank you. Solomon had to be to work this morning, and it just kind of caught me off guard. So I'm here. I'm here.
Supervisor Cogs-Jones, we welcome you, and we're happy you're here. Thank you. Other comments? I will say, I do like the provision about the less than $10,000 for, in terms of contributions. I mean, if a local group, friends group is doing a little local bake sale, I think it's kind of ridiculous if they want to raise a few $100s, it has to be reported through the SOL system. So your $10,000 target is it's realistic for normal friends groups to, raise money without having to go through a whole reporting process. So I think that's good, Mark. Supervisor Luxton?
Thank you. May I be added as a co-sponsor by unanimous consent?
Sure.
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, yes.
It's not even a.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
this item was introduced by the department. There are not sponsors or co-sponsors on the file.
You cannot be answered, you can't be added because it's just sponsored.
That I could prior to the meeting, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. You could vote on it on board day. So thank you very much. Any further discussion?
I had a question.
Oh, Supervisor Taylor.
So I heard Supervisor Logsdon make a comment that she's been working on this for 2 years, or this was coming up 2 years ago, a couple years ago. Why would something like this take this long? Is my question. I mean, were there like 4 changes and it took a couple years? Why would something like this? It just seems pretty simple to take that much time. That would be my question.
Chairman, I can answer that.
Please.
There were a lot of iterations, and we were trying to have a version that included the zoo and other departments, and we did revise it to have this more specific to the county parks. So I can't speak what happened past a year ago. I've just come up on my year anniversary, but I know that that was part of the rationale for some of the timing.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you, Supervisor Taylor. Any further questions, comments? Seeing and hearing none, Kelsey, if you'd like to call the roll.
On the motion by Supervisor Martin that item number 2 be recommended for adoption, Supervisor O'Connor?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Martin?
Aye.
Cogs-Jones?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Ekblad? Supervisor Ekblad?
You're muted.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes, the motion prevails.
Thank you very much. We will now call item number 1 into session. If you can call that up for a roll call.
Item 1 from the Executive Director of Milwaukee County Parks requesting authorization to enter into a lease and vendor permit with ABC Estabrook, Inc. for the operation of the Estabrook Park Beer Garden. This item was also referred to the Committee on Finance.
All right. Welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourselves, and welcome on this warm day.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Guy Smith, Executive Director for Milwaukee County Parks.
Robert Singlop, Contracts Manager, Milwaukee County Parks.
Hans Weisgerber III, Managing Director, ABC Estabrook, Operator, Estabrook Beer Garden.
Thank you. The floor is yours.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm here just to show unwavering support for Hans and his team. As I think everyone here knows that Hans has brought beer gardens back to Milwaukee County and has done a fantastic job at Estabrook and has helped support the parks in many different ways. not only financially, but also supporting our friends group at Estabrook, making various improvements to the park and to the facility. And we'll continue to make those improvements through this extension of the contract. So my purpose is frankly just showing support for our great partner. Robert, our contracts manager, can talk through some of the specifics and any questions you have. And of course, Hans is here to answer questions too. So I appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just have a quick PowerPoint, if you don't mind.
Love to see it.
All right, we can skip that one. Obviously, we're here to ask for approval on a new lease and vendor permit with ABC Estabrook at Estabrook Beer Garden. So a little bit of background. In 2012, following our competitive RFP process, ABC Estabrook was selected to provide beer garden concession services. At that time, the vendor initially operated under one-year vendor permit agreement. And then in 2013, the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors authorized the Department of Parks to enter into a longer-term agreement with the vendor. The vendor made initial investments in renovations and improvements to the beer garden facility. The original agreement had a 7-year term. And that agreement, which we're currently under, has been extended through 2 renewal periods, and it's set to end November 30th of this year. So over that time, since 2012, Hans and ABC Estabrook has paid the county over $2.1 million in commission payments.
All right.
Like Guy said, now that negotiations are over, Hans has been one of our most successful partners, and we're looking to continue that. So some terms, so for the future, bringing Hans and ABC Estabrook back, provides operational continuity for Estabrook Beer Garden, allows Hans and to complete additional renovations and capital improvements before the current agreement expires. That's why we're not waiting till after. We want to have this operate, concurrent, keep Hans there, and, keep this successful agreement in place. It supports continued private investment in county assets, enhances the visitor experience at Estabrook Park, and then this obviously extending this agreement reflects on our strong partnership between Parks and Hans. And then for the terms, so the new agreement, initial 7-year term, beginning on the effective date, which will be after that November 30th, 2026. Includes 1 additional 3-year renewal option upon mutual written agreement. The terms are staying the same as far as commission payments, 20% commission on alcoholic beverages and 10% commission on food and non-alcoholic beverages. We are going to do $900 a month utility fee during the operating season, so when Hans is operating. And this will be reviewed on an annual basis with fees kind of, if it's less or more, we want to be honest and, operate in good faith with Hans and the public. This also, which Hans, has already done, but is going to continue to invest a minimum of $50,000, in capital improvements and maintenance to the beer garden. And, with this agreement, it's going to support the long-term preservation and enhancement of county-owned facilities. And with that, I'll take any questions, and if you have any questions directly for Hans.
All right. Thank you very much for your presentation. Members of the committee? Supervisor Taylor has his hand up first. Supervisor Taylor.
Well, I'm going to let the supervisor of the district, Supervisor O'Connor, make the motion to adopt, but I just want to point out that there are 3 people in this meeting, only 3, that were there for day 1 back in 2012. And that's Hans, obviously, Guy Smith, and myself. So I appreciate everything he's done for the county, what he's done at Estabrook Park, and really set the table for all the beer gardens we have going on currently. It was the first after a long, long time. And I'm happy to see the extension. I'm happy to see the dollar amount that he's contributed to the county, helped contribute to the county. And I'm just curious, I know it's not on the agenda, but how soon are we going to get you in Red Arrow? Because that's another opportunity that is unfortunately hasn't quite happened yet, but hopefully is any day now, because that's needs to activate that park, bring in some more revenue. But congratulations, and I'll support it when the motion is made.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Taylor. It's actually my first question up on the Red Arrow question too. But next up is Supervisor Ekblad.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to give a compliment to the transformation of that space and how well this is working out for the county. We were actually hosting a birthday party for my great aunt in early August at Estabrook, and really looking forward to it, having family coming in from all over the country. I guess I'm just curious on a quick clarification. The $50,000 in capital investment, is that per year? Is that over the course of the agreement? Just a clarification. I do plan on supporting the motion for sure.
Yeah, that's going to be over the course of the agreement. We looked at some of the initial investments that Hans made, and I don't want to speak for Hans. Hans is a very successful businessman. He's going to do what it takes to make his business as successful as it can be, and I know he already has things lined up that he's looking to do. So, yep, that $50,000 is over the course of the agreement.
And just historically, we've spent close to or more than that annually on maintaining the operation there at the beer garden. I have no intention to stop investing in the business and in the facilities and in the surrounding area, whether that is, collaborating with the county when they come to us or we come to them with maintenance items on the building that we're better suited to handle. Then we come to an agreement and we help get those things done. And then we have to make ongoing upkeep on the facilities, keeping the restrooms open for the public. There's maintenance involved there. So we're constantly investing money. So I don't think that's really reflective of what we actually invest, but it's a milestone that needs to be met. And I would imagine we may even meet it sometime between the end of this year and the beginning of next year with things that we feel we need to do.
If you'd like to just introduce yourself and your title for.
Hans Weisgerber III, Managing Director of the Estabrook Beer Garden.
Perfect. And then just to follow up on Supervisor Ekblad's questions, it sounds like you're investing even more than the $50,000 that you plan on doing it. What is your biggest project next in terms of renovation that you have in store?
So when we moved in there, we adjusted some of the pathways and trails with asphalt. Some of the asphalt is degrading, so we're going to need to either put another top. It was a binder course originally too, so we're going to probably have to do some new top coating, leveling, repairs to the asphalt, and asphalt expenses have just become astronomically expensive compared to what they used to be. So that would be a pretty major, an indication of a major project. We've also had some discussions and haven't really come to a conclusion as to what the pathway is. The building is historic. It is a timber frame and plaster exterior. We have over the years done considerable maintenance to it, completely repainting it, caulking it. We worked with a gentleman who has since passed away as the authority on these buildings historically, and he recommended that we not replace things, that we try to repair things and preserve things as much as possible. There are a number of items there now, some columns where there's been some concrete abatement done to just secure them. But I think we're going to have to step in with the county and come to an agreement on how we're going to fix those things. So that would be another pretty major project. And that would also help to sustain the aesthetic and the historic character and long-term integrity of the building.
Fantastic. Supervisor O'Connor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for bringing this contract forward to us, and thank you for your ongoing partnership. As was mentioned, it's one of the older ones in the county, and the first to bring the beer gardens back to Milwaukee County after decades of absence. For a point of comparison, are you able to provide sort of, and not, to the exact dollar, but the scale to which the income from this particular beer garden, how it compares to other beer gardens in Milwaukee County?
I don't have an exact dollar amount, and I don't. I'm happy to get those figures for you and email them over.
Okay, thanks. And just anything, sort of, it doesn't have to be, like I said, to the dollar, but.
Oh, no, sir. We will, working with our business services and food and beverage, they will have, almost to the exact dollar. So we'll get that for you.
I appreciate that. May I continue?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. So I do really appreciate the partnership, and I know it's really well used by the community. People are there having meetings, being social. I myself have chosen it as a place to, hold a meeting with people because it's such a pleasant experience. And I think it's a really good example of getting people out into the parks as well. And it's right along the banks of the river. There's a play lot next door. You can see the disc golf happening. So it's really well integrated. And also I commend you for the historic preservation piece as well. I have been recently thinking about revisiting Milwaukee County's single-use plastic and polystyrene policy, which we have and does get incorporated into contracts, but I'm looking for eventually a better understanding of how in reality that gets implemented in our parks. So I guess I'm just going to mention here, but that's something I'll be looking at going forward in the near future. And if you did have any comments around that policy and how we can possibly see it enhanced, it is a riverfront property as well. And so I think to the extent that we can incorporate sort of, water-friendly materials and in the case where maybe they are not disposed of properly, I think that would be beneficial to the environmental aspect at all. So thank you so much. Oh, and I will move to adopt. I don't think I did that yet.
Okay,
So, thank you.
Motion's been made.
Can I give quick feedback to that? So we do, we serve, I would say, 90% of everything we serve is served in glass. And the only time that we use plastic is for some special events, like when we do a keg tapping, and there are people that are attending who have no intention of purchasing anything, but we don't preclude them from participating in these public events. So then we will use plastic cups, and we will only use plastic cups during our daily operation for the final 30 minutes of operation as we're trying to collect glassware. But it should be noted that when we presented the idea of this beer garden year after year after year before it ever was allowed to happen, one of the things that was frequently criticized was our intention to use glass and to reuse glass, and the intent, and that was to mirror what happens in Europe to this day. But it also, there's practicality to it. Glasses don't blow away, right? They don't blow into the bushes. They don't disappear. They do disappear when people take them home. But we really were committed to that idea so that it doesn't look trashy and there's not big overflowing trash cans. The piece where we do use disposables is in the food service part. We use all craft paper or like recycled non-bleached paper products with the exception of the plastic cup that we serve the cheese in, and that is like our nemesis. We go around trying to collect those when they blow away. Harold from the Friends group hates those things. We're trying to come up with a biodegradable solution for that, but I will just say that we are fully committed to that already and continue to be, and if there's ever any interest in discussing that further for other things to be helpful and give feedback, we're happy to do it.
Very much. So I appreciate the reusability of the glass as well, and it does provide a nice aesthetic. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Supervisor O'Connor. Other members of the committee? Other members? Robert, could you give a quick comparison between the last amended contract to this new contract? What are the biggest differences? If the general public says, oh, everything sounds great here, what are the differences between the two contracts?
Yeah, one of the biggest, with rising costs and utility fees, we raised the utility fee to about an average of what it was last year. And then that is something, instead of just keeping it a flat rate for the next 7 years, we're going to revisit on a yearly basis, just as, I mean, and we've talked about it at this committee with rising utility costs. And, you know, for some reason, if the $900 is more than what is averaged out, you know, we'll obviously work with Hans to lower that for the next year. You know, unfortunately, I don't anticipate that's going to be the case with rising rates. And what is actually different, it's not necessarily different because Hans did, you know, he spoke to it, all the initial investments he did. There was actually no requirement in the initial agreement to do investments, I believe. I'm 99% sure on that. So and you know, Hans is going to meet it easily, but the $50,000, you know, capital improvement and maintenance is something we've started doing in a lot of our agreements just to help, you know, keep up with the maintenance demands and just our budget and things like that. So, you know, while it is included, we have no doubt that Hans is going to meet it and exceed it greatly. It is just something to match some of our other agreements and to be fair and transparent that we are requiring it in this agreement. Other than that, I would say it is vastly the same. I mean, there's updated our contractor code of conduct, you know, our right of entry language has changed a bit and things like that. And just our templates provided by procurement and the comptroller and things like that have been updated. But as far as any drastic changes, that would be it.
Thank you very much, Robert. Any further questions, concerns? Just on behalf of the committee and on behalf of the Milwaukee County Board of Supervisors, we really want to thank you for the relationship that we have with you, Hans. It's been very rewarding, both not only financially for us, and I can't say enough, $2.1 million is a huge amount of money. And it really makes a difference for our Parks Department. It makes a difference for Milwaukee County and Milwaukee County residents. So on behalf of the board, we all want to say thank you for this relationship and the work that you're doing. The additional work that you're putting in the established, and the $50,000 sounds like a small pittance. You really are, you believe in your business, you believe in supporting it, and it's something we appreciate greatly. So on behalf of the committee and on behalf of the board, thank you.
You're welcome, and I thank you for the opportunity. It's an honor to be able to do this for the community. I did this because I love our parks, and I wanted to see this level of activation. So I really do. It is for me an honor and a duty every day to do this right, and I feel like it's the best thing I've ever done in my business career.
That's fantastic. Now, also, I hope the City of Milwaukee is listening to this conversation and the City of Milwaukee moves forward with Red Arrow Park, because we want to get approval and we want to get it done this summer, sooner than later. And hopefully the people in Neighborhood Services hears this, and if they don't hear it, we will make sure they hear it. So thank you. I think there's any other comments? I just go Kelsey. Kelsey, if you'd like to call the roll.
On the motion by Supervisor O'Connor that item 1 be recommended for adoption, Supervisor O'Connor?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Martin?
Aye.
Cogs Jones?
Aye.
Martinez?
Aye.
Ekblad?
Supervisor Ekblad, are you there?
Apparently, I'm having technical difficulties. Aye.
Mr. Chairman?
Aye.
7 ayes, 0 noes, the motion prevails.
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to our almost last item of the day. I will make a comment. This is the shortest agenda in my over 10 years on the Parks Committee I've ever seen. And it's amazing. But for those who think this is going to continue, it's not. September, I've already been told, is going to be a big meeting. So all committee members, be prepared for a big meeting in September. So just lay out the terms on that. Kelsey, if you'd like to continue.
Item 3, from the Executive Director of Parks, providing an informational report sharing data related to water depths at both McKinley Beach and Bender Boat Launch. This item is informational only unless otherwise directed by the committee.
Welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourself and title.
Good morning, Chairman, Supervisors. I'm Sarah Tombson, Director of Planning for the Parks Department. And I'm here to share a report with you that is in response to Budget Amendment 11 from the 2024 budget, which required that the Parks Department develop a schedule for regular monitoring of the sand and silt at Bender Park and McKinley Beach, and provide an annual report on their condition to the board each July. So this is the second time that I'm coming to you with a report on the depths at these locations. We did complete a bathymetric survey of McKinley Beach in late April of 2026, and so that's where I'll begin. We did find that between 2025 and 2026, sediment loss at the beach was found to match uniformly with sediment loss in the vicinity of our beach project area, which included measurements that were several hundred feet past the project zone, and we found a uniform loss of 1 foot of material along this area of the Lake Michigan coastline. So we know the grades that we were shooting for because in 2023 and 2024, the beach was closed and reconstructed, seeking a wading depth of around 2.5 feet between the breakwaters to complete a wading beach. Based on the findings of the bathymetrics or in-water survey that we completed this spring, Parks took it upon ourselves to use our operating funds to hire a contractor to regrade the entire beach, including the sand within the water between the breakwaters. All of that work was done using the design plans from 23 and 24 to achieve a depth of 2.5 feet between the breakwaters. That work was completed and the beach reopened after around 3 days of closure last week, just in time for our heat wave. And I do want to also add that Lake Michigan and Huron, which are of course connected, are up 2 inches right now from last month, 6 inches higher than this time last year, and 2 inches above normal. So as we do projects along beaches and boat launches, we have to, of course, consider the fact that we can't control Lake Michigan, the storm events that impact the amount of water, the snow melt that also can create varying water conditions. But that is the condition at McKinley Beach. And then at Bender Park, as Supervisor Taylor likely knows, we reopened the site on May 19th after our dredging project, which removed sediment and silt in the boat launch area. We were able to achieve a launch depth of 5 feet, and that launch is open and active at this time. We did not complete a bathymetric survey there because it was a part of the capital project. So in this case, the work that we initiated was only at McKinley Beach because we already had current data from the capital project and the site opening. So we're pleased to say that that launch is open and active. We do have a project for Bender in our long-term capital outlay to consider redesigning that launch because the configuration does silt in with frequency and requires these dredging projects. As a site on Lake Michigan, we are required to do mechanical dredging with equipment rather than hydraulic dredging, which is more like a vacuum that some people are familiar with, and that creates more expense and complexity to the project permitting. So that's just by way of background.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tombson. Members of the committee, Supervisor Taylor, I know Bender Park is a very near and dear project. Any questions from you today?
You know, I'm all bendered out. That project took a long time. It was tiresome. So if I don't have to hear about it for a while, that'd be good. But no, but seriously, thank you for everything, Sarah and Parks team, for what you did to get that done. There's still 2 projects taking place, the trail and then the road going down. But back to McKinley, or both, isn't it? Did you mention me one time that higher water is good for Bender, but not good for McKinley Beach, right? Is that correct?
Chairman, Supervisors, well, it's just the fact that you're looking for more water depth at a boat launch, whereas at our wading beach, more water means deeper water. So what's good for one site isn't necessarily good for the other. That's where we complete these surveys and regroom beaches, things like that.
The issues that took place at McKinley, how do you know when we're going to get to that stage of, where you have drownings, where you have like the undertows in that? Because that's why it was closed down to begin with. How do we know when we're going to get to that point? Is it by doing these studies or these tests once a year?
Chairman, Supervisors, I think so. Regular monitoring at whichever cadence we find to be appropriate. With the design plan, we did get a manual of operating procedures that we plan to follow. At the time of the beach's closure, we did have scour points or holes where it was deeper in some areas and basically a bottom that was not uniform. When we regrade, we reach that uniform depth. And so through monitoring, we will know what's happening and what the water depth is at that beach. It does take funding, and we're working towards finding those solutions.
So if we continue to groom it, is kind of how you're calling it, on an annual basis, we won't hopefully get to the point where we have to shut it down and spend, what was $700,000 this last time. We won't get to that point again, hopefully.
Yes, Chairman, Supervisors, the project was designed with extra sand on the dry side of the beach. The beach also recaptures some sand that waves bring into the beach. So by redistributing it, we can reset the grades and elevation, also, of course, depending on the depth of Lake Michigan. I will also share with you that we do have a beach nourishment project in our 5-year capital outlay, not just for this beach, but other beaches. It's an important part of beach management. Obviously, it competes with some other budget priorities, but we have our eye on it, and we plan to continue monitoring.
Yeah, because and that's good to hear with McKinley, because that was terrible that we had to lose almost was it almost a whole summer, just about?
Yes.
And then when it comes to Bender, we lost multiple summers because you couldn't get on Lake Michigan or off Lake Michigan, and unfortunately, that's what we did is temporary and needs that permanent break wall. So hopefully our work, we can get some federal funding for that. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Supervisor Taylor. Also, thank you very much, Ms. Toomison, for those responses. Supervisor Ekblad, you're up.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Really appreciate the presentation and also Director Toomson's and the parks work. I would also just want to give a shout out to another beach that is absolutely rocking this summer, which is South Shore. South Shore is bumping. It is a place to be. So I'd encourage everyone to check that out too, because it's really great to see the first full season of that beach in full bloom. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So, Supervisor O'Connor, you had your hand up too? Yeah. Further questions, Supervisor Ekblad?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a question about the sand redistribution. It was indicated that there were sort of piles of it. So is most of the sand at the beaches naturally occurring, or is some of that brought in from elsewhere? Thanks. Chairman, Supervisors, most of what you see at the beach today was brought in. There was extensive trucking as a part of the project in 23 and 24. And actually, we did study at length the sand size or sieve size, which is how you measure that, to make sure that we had the right kind of engineered sand at the beach that would stay. We did consider, to your point, Supervisor Taylor, seeing if the sediment we were removing at Bender could be used at McKinley Beach as kind of a one-for-one. Unfortunately, that size was not appropriate for the engineered design of McKinley Beach. But that is, there is actually a variety of size depending on where along the beach the different depths have different size sand. And that is all part of the report and O&M plans.
Thank you very much, Supervisor O'Connor. Further questions from committee members? Non-committee members? Well, I have to tell you, I want to just echo a comment that Supervisor Ekblad just made. I took a bike ride yesterday, and I rode from my house all the way down to Cudahy, where the cliff is, just to see what was going on along the shore. So in terms of South Shore Park and the beach there, it was jam-packed. I mean, it was exactly what Supervisor Ekblad said. It was all these people are jumping in the water. You have children, young people to old people. It was just beautiful. I mean, it's just stunning. It was a beautiful day. I think what you did and the Parks Department did was just a fantastic A1 job. So just compliments to you on that. The bike trail looks great. I do like where the bluff is thing. I think the fencing kind of came down. I think people are trying to look over the bluff, much to their personal, I think it's just ridiculous, their own personal safety. I mean, somebody's going to fall off that bluff, but there's only so much you can protect people. I mean, you have a fence up, they knock it down, they go along the side of it, but that is such a steep bluff. I mean, it's just really for anybody who says it's nothing. So what Supervisor Shea brings up in these committee meetings, in our board meetings, is it was really a real problem that Milwaukee County is facing. So good luck on that. But I really think the South Shore job is great. And then the bike trail just looks just beautiful all the way through. Our Oak Leaf Trail, and Jacob Sanchez should get some credit, a shout out for him, and really for the whole Parks Department. What you guys have done is just fantastic. And as for McKinley, my own district, I think using what you have and using operational money was also a very good move. So thank you. And I think when you initially talked about grains of sand and the size and the particulate matter that was being used, I thought it was very impressive, and it's definitely working. So once again, thank you very much, Sarah Tombson, for your work. Other committee members, questions? I think this is for information only, so there's no votes, but thank you very much for your presentation. Next up is the famous e-comments that people look forward to.
E-comments submitted to the Committee on Parks and Culture via the County Legislative Information Center. Click.
My vice chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do not see any comments at this time.
All right. It looks like we have completed our duties. Or any other further business? I see none. We are going to then adjourn until September 29th at 9 a.m. Once again, that is going to be a big meeting, so be prepared for it. And with that, all in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. We are officially adjourned. Thank you.
3 items, sure.
47 minutes, a record.